Bonjour, où est le plume de ma tante? Alright, how's it going? Me here, in case you didn't realise. How you doing? Welcome to this week's Homebrew Wednesday video. Although, not very much going on, I'm afraid. There's no brewing to show you, really. By the side of the camera here, obviously you can't see it, there's a big bucket full of cider. I was going to film me doing this cider. Now it's a Munton's Gold Kit Autumn Blush cider. It brews to 17 litres, and I was just going to do it really to show you how easy it is to do a 2-kit cider. And also I was getting the sachet of yeast, chucking it and using some WLP 775 cider yeast which I grew up on a stir plate, and I was going to show you all that as well. However, sodding camera said it was recording and it wasn't, and subsequently half the bloody video wasn't recorded, and of course it's too late to go back once you've started. But never mind, you know, these things are sent to try us, and they do. Try us, they most assuredly do. So we can forget that one. But you know, I'm going to bottle it this week, and you know, in a couple of weeks we'll have a little sip of it, so I'll do a little mini review of it, and we'll see how it turns out. It smells really nice, but the issue I had with the other Munton's kit that I did, and that was a mixed fruit one, was that the sachet of flavouring that come with it, now this didn't come with any flavouring, but the one that come with the other cider, the mixed fruit one, was just too sweet. It was too much, you know, it was too sweet. It was like drinking just sugar, and it was just horrible. So I ended up dumping that, which I'm not very happy about, because it was expensive when I bought it. Granted, I got it in a sale. I think it was 17 quid rather than a 25 quid. I mean, it's ridiculous how they can charge 25 quid for these kits. I've got no idea. This is just bloody liquid, and you don't need to add any sugar because all the sugar's already in there. But you know, there you go. So it started out at 1.052. At the moment it's down to 1.012, so we're looking about 5 and a bit percent. I don't think it's going to go down any further because it's stayed at 1.012 for a couple of days now. Now, the good thing about the 775 yeast is that it tends to ferment out within 2 or 3 days. It goes really quickly. You don't have very much activity for about 12 hours, and then it goes crazy 8 bonkers for 2 or 3 days, and then it just stops. And then you don't really get very much activity after that. So I'm going to leave it for another couple of days maybe, and then we'll bottle it. The other thing that we're going to be doing, I've spoken about this already, I think, if not on here then certainly on Facebook, the Turbo Cider group. The other thing we're going to be doing is growing up some Cooper's yeast from bottles, from the Cooper's Ale bottled 330 milliliter bottles. And also, as a result of that, obviously I'm going to have to siphon off the ale and do a review on how the ale tastes. So that'd be good. And I'll record, hopefully, yeah, if this sodding camera works properly, I'll record me growing it up on a stir plate. I mean, it's, you know, it's not rocket science, folks, but some people wouldn't have seen it. And it's quite simple. You just get half a cup of dry malt extract into a pan with some water, boil it up for 10 minutes, put it in a cooler, some water, so it gets down to room temperature, and then you chuck your yeast in. So I'm going to have the yeast from 4 bottles, do a yeast starter on that, see how it goes. It may work, it may not work, but hopefully we'll be able to harvest it. Coopers themselves say you can harvest it in the bottle with just water and sugar. I don't really want to do that though, so I don't think that's really the best way of getting a decent yield out of the yeast. I think it's probably better to chuck all 4 bottles of yeast into the flask, stick it on the stir plate and do it that way. And of course, you know, as you're going to be chucking it into a beer, it's probably a good idea to grow it up with some malt rather than just watered sugar. Don't really sound right to me. So I'm sure it'll work, but you know, I want to do it my way because that's the way I do things. I'm an awkward sod and I don't like to follow what everybody else does. So that's what we're going to do with that. And hopefully that will turn out all right. I've not got any beer reviews to do because obviously I'm back on the sober for October again. I had a little break on Saturday because Rhapsody and Owen, who also do casts on Vaughan Live TV, very kindly donated a golden ticket. So thank you to those. I don't know whether they'll be watching these videos, but shout out to them anyway. If you want to go and watch them on Vaughan Live, I'll stick the link down below and you can subscribe to them and watch them. Or not, up to you, your choice. And yeah, it's probably the last cast I'm going to be doing for a while. I've just got to the point, folks, if I'm brutally honest, where I'm just getting bored. And when things start to become boring, you know, you have to ask yourself why you're doing it, really, don't you? And it's nobody's fault other than mine, really. It's not because you know, the people in the room are boring. It's certainly not. You keep me on my toes, and of course the trolls always pop in and keep me entertained. But it's really because I just get bored really, really easily. It's one of these things that, you know, I have to put up with. I can get bored quite easily, and I have to try and think of other ways of entertaining myself. And doing that every Saturday kind of takes it out of you. Especially when you're sitting in a room and there's only 2 or 3 other people in there. You've got to say to yourself, well, is it worth me doing this? Because, alright, I'm entertaining 2 or 3 people, but what am I getting out of it, you know? And I have got some good friends out of it, so thank you to my buddies, you know who you are, that I have met as a result of the, you know, the Turbo Cider group and doing the casts. Thank you very much. It's been a joy to make new friends, and I really do appreciate your support up to date. I might be back in November. The thing is though, I need to have a break, okay, to see whether I'm gonna miss it or not. Does that make sense? Hopefully that will make sense to you. Because if I have a break and I still miss it, then obviously it's not that's causing me to be bored with it. There's something else going on and I need to figure out what that is. Maybe it's the format. Maybe I'm just getting tired of the format and we need to swap the format around a little bit, do some more chats with people on Uvu and things, do some beer reviews, that kind of stuff. But in order to do that, I need the people in the room, you see. So it's a difficult balance to try and get right. It's not an easy thing to do, and you know, I don't know how DJs do it, especially the ones that work during the week. You know, Monday to Friday, do the Saturday mornings and whatever, and they do it all the time. And I couldn't do it all the time. There are some Vaughan Live casters that are on every day. Fair play to them. I don't know how they don't get bored or fed up with doing the same thing day in, day out. I mean, you know, it's at the end of it, you have to come away from it feeling like you've got something out of it, don't you? And if you carry on doing the same thing over and over again and you're not getting anything out of it personally, you've got to ask yourself why you're doing it. Okay, now as an example, my old job, I was doing it really just so I'd get some money to pay the mortgage. And for me personally, that's not enough of a good reason to carry on doing what you're doing. You know, you have to personally be getting something out of it. You have to be getting some sort of personal satisfaction. Otherwise, what's the point? You might as well not bother. And it's not always about the money. Granted, if I was getting paid for doing the Vaughan Live cast, because I'm out of work at the moment, then that might be a different story altogether. But the fact of the matter is I'm not. And, you know, I'm doing it as a hobby, really. And it's like anything else, isn't it? If you carry on doing the same thing over and over again, you get bored. I get bored with doing the homebrews sometimes, you know. I look at the home and I think, oh, I've done too many. I need to slow down a bit. And then I quickly go back to it and think, actually, yeah, this is all right. It's something to do, isn't it? But with this casting thing, that's what I need to do. Just come away for a bit and see whether I miss it or not, and then we'll go back to it and we'll try some different things, or we'll just carry on as we did before, depending on how it goes. So yeah, sorry about that little ramble there, folks, but there you go, that's me over and done with for this week. Nothing else to say. I've got the cider over here, no point showing you really, it's just a load of cider in a bucket. And in the fermentation fridge I've got the Mexican cerveza still. I was thinking about maybe bottling that. It's been in there about a month now, but maybe it needs a couple of weeks longer. It's in the secondary now, in there, at very low temperatures. I've managed to get the fridge down to 5 degrees. Can't get it down much further, sadly. But you know, it should be okay. It should lager up okay and settle enough for me to start, you know, bottling it and carbonate it and things. But yeah, the brewing needs to slow down because I've got too much in the shed, and because I've not been drinking recently. Saturday was good because I was able to wade my way through a little crate, cardboard crate of drink. I've still got some left over. I didn't drink them all. And it's over there. So I was actually able to reduce the quantity in the shed by a factor of 1. But then I went out there and put all the winter warmer cases. There was 3 of those. So what can you do? You know, I'm not drinking them enough where I'm producing them. I'm producing them quicker than I can drink them. That's what I meant to say. So yeah, something needs to give, and it's probably these videos and me brewing, because obviously for the rest of this month I'm not going to be drinking again, and I won't start drinking until November. So there won't be me doing any brewing things, because obviously I can't do the Cooper's video unless I drink the siphoned off ale, because I don't really want to chuck that, because it's pointless, because I want to do a review of it, because it, you know, it's a Cooper's ale and it should be quite nice. And you can buy a Cooper's ale kit, and then hopefully I'll get around eventually to doing the Cooper's ale kit, and we'll be able to compare the two. So I don't really want to be chucking that away, because no one likes to waste beer, do they? And certainly not me. It might be really nice, it might be a load of old crap, who knows? But I don't want to chuck beer away, that's silly, especially as I've paid for it so that I can do, you know, the growing of the yeast. So if you want to give it a go, folks, the Cooper's ale is about £1.53 at the moment in Waitrose. It's in 330 ml bottles though, so you won't get a pint's worth out of it, you'll get slightly less than that. But it's all about the yeast. There is an awful lot of yeast actually at the bottom of the bottles. I've had them in the fridge for a week now, and the yeast has definitely settled at the bottom of the bottles, so that's absolutely fantastic. So what I'm going to do is, obviously I'm going to pour off all of the lager into a decanting vessel of some sort, big old jug basically, and leave a little bit at the bottom there, shake it up, put it on a stir plate, job done, hopefully. And then what we'll do is we'll split the yeast into very small vials. In this case I think I'm probably going to be using some kilner jars, which have been boiled on the stove, remember, because we need to make sure they're properly sterilised, and we'll go on from there. And I'll leave them on the stir plate for about 36 to 48 hours just to make sure we get a decent yield from them, and loads of yeasties. So that's all from me. Yeah, have a fantastic week, folks. I'm going to be sitting here hoping to hear some good news, but it's just at the moment it's going so slow, and it's a nightmare. A bit crap all round really. Could do with a break, could do with a little bit of fairy dust, you know, a little bit of good news and something positive coming out of things. I know some other brewers out there are going through some shit stuff as well, so it's I would say it's nice to see that it's not just me, but I don't mean it in that way. It just goes to show that everybody has their own shit to go through at some point, and at the moment it's my turn. So never mind, we'll limp on and do the best we can, folks, to get through it, can't we? Because insanity awaits otherwise, and we don't want to go there, do we? We don't want to go there. So I'm going to keep smiling. See, that's me, keep smiling, and limp on and do the best I can. And I'll see you, maybe not next week, maybe not the week after, but soon enough. I shall be back, folks. I shall be back, because chances are next week I won't have very much to say either. So yeah, see you on the next one. Ta-da.